Yeah, you can be the greatest, you can be the best, you can be the King Kong banging on your chest.
You could beat the world, you could beat the war, you could talk to God, go banging on his door.
Hi everyone, this is the first video for the swimming section of Generation 10. So I'm first going to start off with a little bit about my personal experience in training, accomplishments, goals, anything like that, and then I will go more into about what my next videos will be like and also just the swim phase in general. So for my personal experience, I have always had swimming be kind of more of a medium phase for me. It hasn't been a complete weakness, but it also hasn't been a complete strength. So for me, when I was training, I always found it more productive to have someone else there with me, whether that was either my mom or dad or sister just watching, or a swimming buddy or an actual coach. So I kind of did a combo of all three. I sometimes swam on my own with my mom or my dad or my sister watching, tracking my times and distances, and kind of pointing out any random advice that they had, because even though they weren't a real coach, they could still give me solid advice that really did make a difference, just because they were more aware of something from the sidelines when seeing me when I was swimming. Then I also, at times, I would have real coaching advice and have lessons with actual coaches in my area to get more of a real coach's perspective. And then there were also times when I either swam with someone else, so I had a little bit more fun with that, or I completely just went on my own and did my own thing on a given day. I think it's a good idea to have a combo of all of them, because then you get a wide range of options and you also become a more well-rounded swimmer. Something else is that for your distances, you should practice what you're going to be swimming at in the actual competition. So yes, you need to be training longer distances, of course, because you don't want to just go out and swim only 1-200 and then be done for the entire day, but you should do it in intervals, swimming for whatever distances you're going to be doing, and then be training for strength and endurance, but then also maybe after your training, at the very beginning and the very end of your training session, when you're swimming obviously a lot more than that, do a full out timed whatever distance you are doing. So if you're training for a 100 versus a 200, still be swimming the same general amount per practice. 30 minutes to an hour is what I would recommend, but go through times where you actually time yourself, or those could be the days when your mom or your dad or your sister comes and they can actually time you if you need help with that. And then finding time to practice, where to practice, when, all of that. Finding time to practice. I always went right after I was done riding. Luckily my barn is pretty close to where I swim. I swim at my club that is nearby the swim place. Nearby the riding place, and I always just swam there because we had a membership and it was easy access. But if you don't have that, try to find a place like that near your area, or a friend's pool that you can use, or something like that. And then when you can swim, like I said, I always went after I was done with riding, but if you don't have that ability, just find time either in the morning, at night, whenever the place is open, whenever you have free time. My ideal amount of time of swimming would be swimming every other day. This summer, I really got into the routine of swimming every other day, and then the days I didn't swim, I would run, and then sometimes I would run almost every day because running was my weakest phase. But to go back on swimming, what is needed to practice, obviously you need your swimsuit, you need goggles. It is good to get a swim cap, especially if you're a girl and even if you're a guy, because it will improve your times, and you also just don't have to worry about your hair. Some people are like, oh, you don't need a swim cap. No, you really do need a swim cap. Maybe when you're first starting off and just learning technique, you don't, but having a swim cap and correct goggles that really truly fit your head make a difference, especially when you start diving and doing flip turns. Having incorrect goggles or goggles that don't properly fit you will hinder your ability to do the flip turns and dives without having your goggles pop off. For the longest time, I was unable to find a pair that really properly fitted my head, and every time I would dive or do a flip turn even, they would fall off. So it wasn't like I was just keeping my head up too much when I was diving. It was the fact that even when I did a flip turn and just flipped in the water with a little bit more pressure, my goggles would pop off. So once you find a pair of goggles, also sometimes they'll go out of stock, so I recommend getting more than one pair of goggles, especially if you find a type that really works for you. Always have at least 2 to 3 pairs of goggles available at all times, because you might lose one, you might break one, you never know what's going to happen. And then to go along with my next videos I will be talking more about specifics of swimming, diving versus not diving, and starting from the side, flip turn techniques, different strokes you can do, different things you can do in practices, preparing for a competition, goals, etc. So my very next video will be diving versus not diving. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please send requests, contact me over my email, which is in the contact button on my website. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys next time.
You can throw your hands up, you can beat the clock. You can move a mountain, you can break rocks.
You could be a master, don't wait for luck. Dedicate yourself and you gon' find yourself.